Live. Hello.
We're live.
What's the actual functioning music bot that we have?
Let's
these are
see.
good questions.
So we were using one yesterday in Star Wars. Let's have a look in
But that
Boston.
was Spotify links, not YouTube links.
You could try YouTube, the actual YouTube bot. That's slash.
I tried it before and it didn't work, but I can try again.
I just grabbed some Creative Commons on Spotify.
I tried this Fred bot that was here.
Yeah, Fred Boat is just that said it doesn't want to work. No, actual fact, it doesn't. Yeah, there's certain things it doesn't work and certain things does work. He goes, "Oh no, we've disabled YouTube," and then 8 days ago. Oh yeah, that's all I fucking do as well.
About this one, nope. What's the command for this jockey music bot?
Nose.
That's muted. Exclamation mark.
Yeah. Oh. All right.
Cool. There we go. Awesome.
You've achieved vibe.
I'm going to push this up as don't miss the choppiest session one you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yep, I was about to say that. It looks like it's very much lagging behind.
I wasn't worried about that one, but I was just going to play.
Oh yeah, let's do some advertising.
Shit. Let's do some sponsoring.
Let's to put some ads.
Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. Nice vibe.
Thank you. And it's 8 hours long, so...
Oh, brilliant. Here we go. Don't miss the most obvious session one you'll see in your life. Add a ping. What was the ping? That's a cheer. Thank you for the cheer. Ledge. Cool. Right, here are they?
Oh, on Twitter as well. Almost forget to tweet it.
I hate that my I button doesn't work very properly. And I need to type something.
So we have, why do we have a bunny with a gun?
That's what my race is.
What the man?
I mean, feel free to Google what a Kushaban is, but it is basically a rabbit.
So basically you're
Oh my
playing.
god. So, yeah, bunny with a handgun.
Yes, I am a rabbit with a gun. I'm adorably cute, which is why I have godly high charisma.
Good.
Hey, Skorak, how's it going? Okie dokie. Okie dokie, hopefully not too choppy. So yeah, I'm trying to pull off a a game concept that is, I'm the one that's going to be doing all the going through the teething problems, and once I get this sort of a working formula down, then we could start opening this up as a Westmarch. There's no doubt there'd be a few people just sort of wanting to give the GM in this shit a go. Once it's working, that is. That's the caveat. So, for those of you who are not 100% up to speed, Westmarch is effectively like an MMO style campaign where we'd have multiple games all set within the same world or the same cosmology at least in some capacity, which involve like multiple GMs, multiple groups, and everybody has a way old time. This is, however, the Prologue Campaign. So what that means is at the moment, even though this intends to be a Westmarch, it is currently only a campaign. So this is to get through the teething problems, figure out how everything's going to fit together, pull at the thread, see what comes undone, and then tweak and adjust and get it functioning before, opening it up to the much broader audience. We've also lost Kian as well. We haven't no longer got a Kian cam.
Yes, my electricity went out, so the internet, everything. That's just fucking amazing. I'm currently on my phone right now.
Oh wow, it's amazing how those things work out.
Matthew, why do you have like half a frame per second?
We also, since we're in
robots.
rented house.
Yeah,
IRL.
I was just about to comment that it looks like PS1 graphics of someone drinking a cup of coffee.
Fucking hell.
Strobing mad.
I don't know why it's bad. Like the
Oh, it's settled now. I've no idea.
the video ninja looks alright, but the stream is a bit here and there.
Yeah, it's going to be up and down. All right. Well, as I said, choppiest one. It's the first time streaming for a few of these guys. We'll figure it out in the end. Cool. So, right, we've got 4 characters that have been created within the Star Wars cosmology, spanning 40,000 years pre Thoyo arrival. Which then shortly left to a schism with the old Jedi, the precursors to the Jedi, which resulted in the formation of the Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic, which went on for a wee bit until the spawn of the Sith, followed a few more schisms, which resulted in the sort of Sith Empire, and they kicked the shit out of each other for about 1,000 years before the thought bomb was set off. Completely challenge complete. Of course, people are dumping into that. Thank you, Red Fox. That's not for this party though. That's for the the Sunday party. I don't know if I could pause that. So looks like our Saturday game is going to be. Looks like our Saturday game is now going to be. The Saturday players are now going to be level 7. So yeah, they'd 1,000 years BBY before the Battle of Yavin. If you want to know what the hell the Battle of Yavin is, it's the one where Luke Skywalker shoots that little thing down into the Death Star and it blows up in the movie Return of the Jedi. I think it's Return of the Jedi. Is it that one? Which one does he blow? Which movie? Anyway, the movie which he blows up the Death Star. That's the Battle of Yavin. And it's the most commonly known calendar in Star Wars. So yeah, 1,000 BBY, the 1,000 years of Jedi and Sith kicking the shit of each other came to an end with the thought bomb, a force ritual that resulted in the decimation of the Sith in its entirety, and a small portion of, quite a large portion of the Jedi, most of the higher ranking members. But not all of them. And it was believed that that was the end of the Sith until, of course, Plagueis and with Darth Maul had revealed themselves to have been working in the shadows this whole time. And the rest of that is in the movies. If you haven't watched the movies, then nothing that I've just said made any sense anyway. So who gives a fuck?
I hear the movies are quite popular.
Yeah.
So, Daffy,
Yes.
you mentioned Plagueis and Maul. Wasn't Plagueis and Sidious?
Sorry, Sidious and Maul, I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Plagueis was long dead before they were exposed.
yeah, it was after It
Yeah,
was
Plagueis. Yeah, Plagueis is my. I know because I've recently read Plagueis as well, so it's still got that in my head. So, but however, some of our player characters here are not even aware of the Battle of Yavin or of the Thought Bomb. Some of them have lived and died before these events even taken place. So let's start with going through which each of these characters are from then. And I want to hear a little bit about your character, at least as much as you've written, and when and how you died. Give it in BBY, even if your character's not familiar with BBY, but of course you can give it in both the calendar that you would know it as, followed by, but you would know that as BBY, XBBY, right? So let's start with, was anyone born prior to 2000 BBY? Nope. 1500 BBY and before, I know Fractal is, but is anyone else born that early? No. Okay. Let's start with Fractal. Tell us a little bit about your character. What's the name? Where'd you come from? And how and when did you die?
Yeah, so my character's name is Zoroast. He's a Sith pureblood, and he essentially was like a slave in the mining colonies until he was rescued by the Sith and taken to train in the planet of Korriban, where he trained to be a Sith Lord. Then he lived his life following the ways of the dark side until he saw there was something wrong with it. So he tried to correct his ways and take upon some new thought processes, but the world was too it was too late for him, and essentially he died in a war with he was fighting for the Sith and all in a planet named Devoran.
And so he died in 1500 BBY, also known as 21. But your character would know it as 2100 ATC, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
The Treaty of Coruscant. Okay. Anybody born prior to 1000 BBY? Anyone prior to 500 BBY? Anyone born? So no one in the Old Republic. Anyone born in the New Republic era? So that's between 1000 BBY and 0 BB and the Battle of Yavin itself.
That would probably cover me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
There's
before
3 of you. Okay. Right. Which years? Victor, which year?
I think it would be like 40 BBY.
Okay. Anybody who died earlier than 40 BBY?
Earlier? I don't think so.
Okay.
So
So
if we're going with deaths as opposed to births.
going by deaths. Yeah, deaths.
Okay, if we're going by deaths, then I'm after BY.
Yeah,
Oh.
after.
Oh.
Wait, actually, now that I think about it, more like 50. But yeah.
So you were the next in there. So let's give you some here. We still got a Kian, even though that he's currently not doing the camera feed at the moment. Kian, you still on the call? We've lost the Kian.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
So I'll get back to you later. Currently working on how.
Okay,
which year did you die? That's so I could just arrange.
Sorry, I was busy doing that. It was around the 1,000-year war between the Jedi and Sith, so like 1,000 BBY.
Oh, right, okay. So we do have somebody. So we'll come back to you, but you are in the correct position. Then we have a Victor.
I think I'm so. Is BBY before the Battle of Ian?
Yeah, BBY is the Battle of Yavin. Yeah. So
Okay, so he's 50 years before the Battle of.
You
yeah,
died 50 years
right?
Battle of Yavin. Oh no, Victor is. Is he? Are you
Yeah.
too?
Oh, I thought we were talking about birth.
No, death.
Yeah.
When was your death?
That would be around in the Clone Wars. That would be like
Same
20
thing.
BBY
Yeah.
20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
That's almost that period of time. I died in the end of the almost at the end of the Clone Wars, and the start of the Empire.
Okay. So yeah, both of you are from.
You died a bit later.
Yeah, both of you are from relatively the same era, but you're a little bit before. So we'll come back to Kian because he's having technical difficulties because his power cut off. Wonderful timing. Can't be helped, is what it is. So we'll hear from Kian. Unless Kian, if you're on the call, do you want to introduce your character because you're the second eldest, technically by death.
But they.
Yeah, the second earliest death was your character. So if you're on the call, do you want to do an introduction? Nope, no problem. We'll move on to Victor. We'll come back to him. So Victor, yes, tell us a little bit about your character. What's the name? Where did they come from? And when and how did they die?
So, Marlodan was a child first discovered and taken by the Jedi Order, and was trained on Coruscant in the temple by the as usually people are in that era. And after that he was for a short period of, well, average period of time for one to be a Padawan of Kit Fisto.
Okay.
And then after getting knighted as a Jedi Knight, he fought in the Clone Wars. And, well, he wasn't really sure about how politically inclined the Jedi Order should be, and after seeing stuff like Dooku being deemed evil just because of he's a separatist. Now, not everything Marlowe knows is actually technically correct, but you know how information is. Also, after Quinlan was got redoctrinated, so to say, and everything, at that point he was completely disillusioned with the Order, so he fled to a distant planet. Tried to hide among old friends he made via his master on Mon Calamari, and eventually mates came after him and well, cut him down after a heroic battle of like 10 seconds or something.
Oof. Fair enough. So we're
Also,
cut down by your master?
I think Mace Windu was the person tasked with hunting down.
Oh, so as far as they're concerned, you went proper dark then. How dark did you actually go, though?
I deserted from the Order and from the Republic, but didn't go like dark side with in respect to the Force and Force powers.
Gotcha. So just the Jedi being fucking the dogmatic Jedi as they are. See, they're not all the good boys that you think they are, and they're really not.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
yeah, you just gotta look at the, so actual fact is, I'm gonna talk about this because this is fit into the setting. So if you look at the 1,000 Years of War between the Jedi and Sith, so we're gonna be dealing with the closing stages, the closing few years of this. But if you were to select the most beneficent reason that the Jedi could have been involved in this war, that would be an opportunity to destroy the Sith. If you were to pick the most benevolent reason that the Sith were involved in this war, it was an opportunity to eliminate the Jedi. If you were to take that was the more likely reason as well, because since the sort of separation, that fracture from the Jedi, following after during the Thoyo era, they've pretty much been almost like, you know, space magically compelled to fight each other. But if you look at the other reasons, well, the Republic were more or less on a campaign of colonizing the galaxy. You know, they were taking over, you know, systems that didn't want them in there. And basically the resistance were bolstered by the Sith, while the Galactic Front was expanded with the aid of the Jedi. So effectively, the Sith were the defenders and the Jedi were the conquerors.
Taffy, I just got a call. I got to attend. It's like I'll be back in like 10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Marlo's basic view of the situation is that the Galactic Republic was this oppressing empire, only republic by name, and the separatists were freedom fighters.
Yeah. There is there's a lot to be said as well, that there is like a lot of suffering and poverty even in Coruscant itself that is sort of like, brushed under the rug. There's a lot of dark sides when you start reading up the novels, but we're not dealing with the Coruscant era now, but this is more that era. But even like back then, well, even back then, this was going on in Coruscant, and there was sort of very modern like slavery. Your iPhone's made by a 6-year-old for a boil of rice a day. It's more or less that kind of shit that was going on, that was propping up the inner core of the Galactic Republic. No, because that's a spoiler. I won't say that. That's a spoiler. But yeah. So anyway, next up, who died not long after you, we have Vyatsa's character.
Okay, so my character's name is Alexander Wermet. He was born in Naboo.
Okay.
He was rescued by the Jedi's because he was a Force sensitive, and he started the trainings into the Coruscant Temple with his master Obeja,
Okay.
his Jedi master. After some times, when he became a Sentinel Knight, if you know what a Sentinel Jedi is, more.
Jedi Sentinel. Yeah.
Yeah, more onto these special missions. He was tasked to assist his master into protection of an ambassador, but at that time, an assassin wanted to assassinate the ambassador, and Alexander, instead of saving the ambassador, he helped an orphanage which was attacked by some bandits, and his master and the ambassador both got killed by that assassin.
Oof.
And the Jedi Order placed a bounty on him a bit, but because of his history and his missions, he was just outlawed by them.
Yeah, I'm got a suspicious feeling there's more to that story than what you're telling. As much as they're not entirely the good guys, it does seem very un-Jedi like to put a bounty on because you were helping out an orphanage. But I'm sure we'll get some character development there and find out what really happened. So, and how did you end up kicking the bucket?
So basically, my entire life after that was very influenced by the Jedi's. I traveled into many planets helping the innocent. Basically, I was a vigilante until one day on. He doesn't remember the planet's name. It was like Naboo's, not Naboo, Tatooine style. More like controlled by the cartels and something like that.
Yeah.
He wanted to free the people from that cartel, and he succeeded, but he died from the wounds.
Fair enough. Died at the hands of a cartel. As many Jedi before you had fallen, and many after. Cool. And last of all, we have the bunny rabbit with a handgun.
Hi,
Hello.
all.
Be right back. I will go to get some water. It's okay.
I'm playing Esther. She spends her entire life on the Outer Rim, so she goes by Esther von the Boonies. She's an honest smuggler, and on a casual day at some time 4 years after BY, she was on a trade mission to the forest moon of Endor, just picking up some military surplus in exchange for some luxury goods, when a worrying number of Ewoks broke for the tree line and killed everyone.
Cool. Including herself.
Everyone died.
Everyone died. Okay. So there we go. We've got a bit of a spread on the movies, which is to be expected. It's where a lot of focus is. So we've got 3 of the characters on there, but we do have, we do have 2 from the Old Republic, which is cool. Right then. So, waiting for everyone to get back. Right, well, since there's 2 people away that's AFK at the moment, we still haven't got a Kian back yet. Kian's in the call, but he's muted. So, I can't move on ahead while I'm missing 3 out of 5 players. So I'll wait these to get back. I did say this was going to be choppy, but holy shit, guys. Right, well, Matt, Vic, let's have a short 5-minute break here. Stack grab and all this settle down, and we've got this. Hopefully we get Kian back.
James I'm back.
Oh, he's back. Right, okay, before we do the 5-minute break, Majobi, well, if everybody can get back, we'll do that introduction. We'll do the I'll bring you an introduction to the story while I introduce your handler, Drangoma. And then we'll have a sort of a short break where you can have a chat amongst yourselves and chat and decide when you go back. Chat, no fucking spoilers, all right? These guys don't know the story of Darth Bane Path of Destruction, and I'd like to keep it that way. I'd like them to discover this whilst playing this campaign. Okay, cool. So, Kian, yeah, you were actually the second. You're the second earliest. We can hear you. You were the second earliest to fall, right? So we've got death in 1500 BBY. You died in 1000 BBY, which should be would it before or after the Ruson Reformation? Before or after the Thought Bomb?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, which one? Before or after? Or during?
Yes.
There, like in and out, but for the most part, it's fine. I believe it went Vic and then me, I think.
No, Vic died in the Clone Wars.
Oh wait, no, it was it
Fractal.
Matt?
Fractal, then you,
No,
then
no, it
Victor,
wasn't.
then Viatza, then Matt.
Fractal, yeah.
That's the order whose characters have died. So, yeah, did your character die before or after the Thought Bomb? So if you died around 1000 BBY.
Kato, he was, his mother had immigrated to another planet, outside of, I forgot what the one that Zabraks are normally born on. It's the one Darth Maul's from.
Dathomir.
That one.
Dathomir?
Yeah, Dathomir.
Yeah. They migrated from that to an arguably shittier one, as it was going under a civil war. Kato and his brother had spent most of their childhood just trying to scrounge off the streets, doing odd jobs here and there to earn enough money to keep their place, all that. And eventually, once the time came, once they were old enough to get drafted into the Civil War for one of the sides they're on, they did eventually, but once that happened, they started noticing odd coincidences that happened whenever they... Oh, sorry, am I cutting out a lot?
No, I was just going to say you were drafted. Drafted by who?
I don't know, just one of the sides. I'd assume it's not any big war. It's just a small petty civil war.
Right.
It was over you had this amount of territory. Oh, you had this amount of territory. That sort of thing. It's not,
so I'm guessing Kato then is a Jedi.
No. So
okay.
What happened here was they started noticing odd coincidences whenever they went into battle. Attacks would that were fired at them seemed to miss a lot more often than normal soldiers.
Yeah.
And just some random things would start happening. They didn't know at the time, but they were Kato was force sensitive, and he didn't officially know this at the time. He just named it something else. He just named it the flow.
Okay.
During that time, he picked up certain amounts of skills from like lightsaber training from
That's
one
what I
of
was
the
going to question.
recruiters.
It's like who taught you
Yeah,
lightsaber combat?
yeah. There was a recruit. There was a native there, a Jedi there who who was born there, and he had a personal stake in the Civil War. Who taught him basic lightsaber training.
Okay.
And he just he wields a sort of axe, almost like a light axe, because that's the biggest thing I could find that was also a simple light weapon. um,
Okay.
uh,
Okay, I get the character now. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, you
one
get
of
the
those.
idea. One of the days.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
it's basically you're sort of a non. So you're Jedi, but you're not part of the actual Orthodox Jedi Order. So again, your master that trained you would be not part of that either. So there are actually not like full on schisms, but there's like Altist Jedi as well, which Ahsoka and Anakin actually meet, and they don't just allow Jedis to marry, but they actually encourage families because it creates more community and bonding.
Actually, the Jedi, like he didn't learn any sort of specific force powers from that. He all just learned all the stuff from mainly just practice and experimenting with different things. Like he had no formal.
Yeah, I'd have to stop you
training,
there.
but-
That would not be possible.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be possible.
I don't know enough about this.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's kind of like
Not,
so
too
so
versed in
the
Star
train.
Wars knowledge.
So imagine me trying to sort of explain this to you. So if you take somebody like a something like something like imagine like engineering or doing something like microbiology, it's an immensely complex subject that most people with a reasonable with a reasonable level of intelligence can learn it, but they need some sort of mentorship. Now, there are other ways of learning force powers. It's even built mechanically into this game, and it is actually true to it. Have you heard of a thing called a holocron?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't
Okay.
remember what it was.
So a holocron is basically like a like some sort of means of scribing of storing information. So it's created very similar to how like a lightsaber is created using force alchemy and using like a crystal or a matrix, right?
It's an ebook reader.
Yeah, it is able to. It's able to store, as far as it's understood, like a near infinite amount of information. The one who creates it imprints their personality on it and becomes what's referred to as a gatekeeper, and they effectively become a mentor to whoever is reading the holocron. So there are Jedi holocrons, which are typical cubic, and you've got Sith holocrons, which are typically pyramidal. So it is entirely possible and perfectly plausible that you could have learned lightsaber forms, Shen. You could have learned Shen, lightsaber form. You could have easily have learned your force powers and various other things through a holocron. That is entirely possible. Okay. So if you're force sensitive and you found out, because you need to be a force sensitive to handle like a holocron in order to open it and get it to interact with you. So it's very possible that you've had a master that may have been long dead. It could have been a Jedi, it could have been a Sith. Generally, Sith holocrons can be dangerous because they're very corrupting. They're very often trapped as well, and if you're not worthy of their information, they do have means of worse than death in some cases if you do try to access those holocron. If you read one of the books of the Clone Wars as well, what one of these holocrons does to Obi-Wan Kenobi, you see how fucking bad this can get. Really bad. But Jedi holocrons not wired up that way. It'll either interact with you or it wouldn't. So it's up to you. Let's have a look at what powers you learned from it. So we have Hex, Fear, Armor of Abeloth, Curse, so a lot of dark side powers.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going for, dark side, yeah.
So, easily could have discovered a Sith holocron. So,
right.
What a bit of homework for you then.
Thank you.
So a little bit of homework for you. find somewhere, because there's a lot of crypts somewhere on there that is plausible that unnamed, so non-canon Sith Lord could have tombed up, and you found him buried with his lightsaber, which is now yours, along with his holocron. And that's how you learned all the shit you learned. So it's plausible that you could have gone, as you said, the Civil War thing. So you did that, and that's, you know, you learned to fight and weird things happen, so you knew you were kind of somewhat force sensitive, or you said the flow, as you called it, because you didn't know about the force. And you felt like a calling, because they can reach out. The consciousness of these gatekeepers can reach out. It has been happened multiple times. If you've got a force sensitive that's powerful enough, they will reach out. Particularly the Sith. The Sith holocrons do this. And they could have, you heard this sort of thing called out to you, and you've discovered this completely hidden tomb, or a burial, maybe even an unmarked grave. That could be quite interesting. An unmarked grave, in which is a holocron of a long-forgotten Sith Lord and his lightsaber. And it's through the holocron as you've learned the ways of the dark side.
Alright, that sounds a lot better than what I was going for, yeah.
Doesn't even need to be Sith, it could be just a generic Dark Jedi as well. So you don't necessarily have to learn about Sith teaching. This could be just a simple Dark Jedi.
Alright.
That has his own philosophy and take on the Force.
Thank you, because that makes so much more sense than the shitty thing I was going for, honestly.
That's fine. And it kept true to it. It's all it's added in is that you got caught, a holocron reached out to you, you found it, now you have a lightsaber, and you know Force powers. Easy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So there's that. So that's your boy. And that occurred. I'm going to push you back to before the thought bomb. So you, however you decide you died, that occurred prior to 1000 BBY. The reason being is because being force sensitive and being trained in the force at that point, you would have felt the thought bomb. It's up to you. You may be able to do it shortly after, but obviously for the sake of keeping this mission without your character having to know a bunch of fucking spoilers, actual fact, no, that's not necessary. Yeah, you wouldn't know the ins and outs of it. You may be aware of it. It's up to you whether or not you'd be aware of it. You'd be aware of the thought bomb, but not know anything more than I'm going to indulge everybody else with now in character. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you died shortly after the thought bomb. But around about 1000 BBY, when you're talking about then, it's about where the thought bomb, where this event that you're trying to stop. Well, not the thought bomb itself, just the rule of two. So Bane cannot go into hiding with Darth Sana. Cool. There we are. That's everyone. Right. Okay. So yes, you all kicked the bucket, and we're missing a fractal. Fuck's sake. Come on, guys. Fractal.
A second. I need to adjust something.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the 5 minute then as well.
Right. Let's have it. Okay, we'll do a 5 minute. I'm gonna ping everyone now. Right. Let's get this. We'll do a short 5 minute break. Snack. Grab. Break. Everyone on call by, let's say, 10 past. 10 past the
So
hour.
we have a break.
Yep, until 10 past the hour.
Okay. So basically,
Yeah, well, we got the character introduction. I know what you guys are about now, so
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
no. It's we're live on stream, mate, so we can't have a 10-minute break. It's 5 minutes at the most, so we're back at 10 past.
Okay.
Yeah, those, if you're back before, you're free to interact with chat, obviously. But
Yeah, basically, I want to go get another keyboard for now on the house because I
well,
hate.
grab quick then. Go now. Go,
Yeah, I
go,
will
go.
do it. Be right back.
Right. Do me a fresh tea. I'm gonna take this hoodie off because it's really warm now.
The powers access have
Oh god.
this. Good. Okay. Stop.
Daffy casually killing himself in the background.
Sorry about that. My blatant unknowledge of Star Wars is clearly shining through.
Oh, it's fine. I know nothing that predates episode 1.
Yeah, my knowledge is the prequels, the original series, and the Force Awakens from the new one, and that's it. Really should probably get studying more for this campaign, huh?
Nah, it's fine.
Thanks.
Opting to play as a smuggler means I've absolved myself of needing to know anything about the Jedi or the Sith.
Oh, right, you're so smart. I should have just done that.
Yeah.
Could have just played like any of the non-force classes and not have been idiots, and then it would have been completely fine. We would not have had this problem.
I don't know why so many people opted to go with like heavy force wielders with super deep lore.
I just wanted to try and like play this because I'm really familiar with Paladin, and this is just Star Wars Paladin. And then I found out, oh, there's a lot that I probably should have known about before I did this.
Yeah. So I kept it simple. I'm just a smuggler who got killed by a load of Ewoks. It's perfect.
It's brilliant. You just, yeah. Dying on me, so that's fun.
So what I miss?
We're currently in the process of a 5-minute break that will last until 10 past the hour.
Yeah, like what happened after I like left the call?
People introduce their characters.
Nothing else?
There was some discussion about the deep lore of one person's character.
Okay. Which person's character was that?
Ow, ow, ow.
Oh, hi Milk, how's it going? We're doing Star Wars.
I'm back.
Okay, everyone back? Oh no, we still got waiting on Matt. No, sorry, not Matt. VS.
Blair.
Yeah, sorry, I've forgotten I completely arranged where your camera feeds were. So I probably put you guys in chronological order.
Yes, I'm on the far right because I'm the baby.
The baby of the group. The baby bunny. Coolio. So then. Celestial battles. Funny you should mention Celestials. Spoilers. Right, clip that down. Stellar Warfare.
Speaking of
Celestial
Star
battles,
Wars,
why did I just store that? No, I'm sorry. I nailed that with Celestial battles.
speaking of Star Wars stories, would you guys recommend the High Republic era?
Yeah. There's no reason why not. So that's following the Rusan Reformation before Order 66, isn't it?
It's before Episode 1, basically.
Yeah.
The Golden Age of the Republic.
Yeah. Or prior to the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars is not included in that.
Yeah, I'm getting curious because I think there's a game coming out that's set in that era.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
just,
like I loved it white and gold aesthetic, so I wanna read up on it.
Yeah, it's I started with the I've started on the New Republic books. the other High Republic books, and oh my god, these.
Don't mark me on my 1 FPS.
It's actually half.
But mate, yeah, it's such a hard book to follow. There's so many. It introduces so many characters back to back to back. You're like, whoa! And I understand you're setting up the board here, but fucking slow down. Like, I've just already lost track of all these characters.
Kind of the Game of Thrones season 1 starting episodes vibe.
Not even. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it goes through about 5 different ships. So you imagine, a perfect storm when it goes to different vessels. So bear in mind, this is a book. So you're not getting like a visual, you're not getting faces. You know what I mean? You can have a face description of someone, but there's only so many face descriptions before you start a picture. I suppose if I got a better reading discipline, I could probably, manage it. But yeah, it was like perfect storm, but imagine about 3 times the vessels, and that's what it felt like. I was like, already, I'm like, who are we talking about now? Is this another vessel? Like, mate, slow down.
Yep, White says back.
Okay,
Yeah,
everyone's back. Okay.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any good keyboard, so I'm going to continue using this one.
It'll be fine. So then, yes, all of you peoples, there you are, from 1500 BBY to 1000 BBY to, the middle of the Clone Wars to the end of the Clone Wars and to after the Battle of Yavin. All you guys have kicked the bucket, seemingly at the single time, at the same time across space-time, because that makes all the sense in the world. And yeah, you see the light. As one expect, oh, that's the light. Yes, go towards the light. As your consciousness starts to fade, it starts to tip back in again. As we had another power cut on Kian. Fuck. Oh, he's back. Yay! As your consciousness starts to dip almost into nothing, just right on the edge of just barely alive, suddenly you are ripped back to consciousness again. And that light is now super bright. All you can see is white because it's a very bright room. As your eyes start to adjust, you see you're not alone. You see others around you, a little bunny person, unless you are the bunny person. There's Zabrak, a couple of, and a few humans, I think. That's what the races are.
Well, depending on how much the person knows, it's obvious to tell from Marlo that he's Kifar from the face tattoos.
Okay. But humanoid, let's say. A couple of the humanoids. A bunny person and humanoids. One with the horns. It's almost like, you spend probably a lot of time looking at each other because, each other is a lot less brighter than everything else in the room. But even as your eyes adjust, you can't see the walls in this room. It seems to go on forever. It's not quite sure whether it's white or what the source of light is. In the distance, you guys see a figure. How many of you are... Well, all of you are force sensitive, but which of you are actually trained as such? I know, obviously, Kato is. Alexander is. Who else? Yeah. So Marlo. So literally only Esther is the only non-Jedi class then?
Yes.
Okay.
So many Jedi.
That's fine.
In theory, Jedi is practically not.
Well, Esther is...
I was clearly brought in to manage these idiots.
Unaligned force user.
Solo be like. Solo be like.
Yeah. So yeah, the 4 of you that are trained. I mean, Esther, you get these sort of like feelings now and again, these little inclinations, these there's a few uncanny. Maybe you've put it down to luck because you have 2 lucky rabbit's foots.
I declare 4.
A 4 paws. The true. Well, I mean, you got opposable thumbs, technically hands. I don't know. 4. You got 4 paws. Lucky rabbit paws. So maybe you're just super lucky. Apart from that one time, which recently just happened with those Ewoks. So
There was a lot of Ewoks.
there was a lot of Ewoks, though. Luck can only get you so far.
It was a lot of Ewoks, guys.
Luck can only get you so far, I suppose. So yeah, you get a sense of a immense amount of force energy. You've thought of familiar what it is. You've felt it. You've drawn on it. You've wielded it. You've maybe even spoke to it or consulted with it, depending on whether or not you've had Jedi, Sith, or Dark Jedi training. But it is absolutely deafening. The figure you see in the distance is probably looks like about 100 meters off at the moment. It's the only sense of an horizon that you're getting in this place. Other than that, the floor seems pretty sturdy, but it doesn't seem to have a texture to it. And this man, or figure, slowly walking towards you. It'll be a few seconds. I'll leave you guys speak to one another, get into character before I step in.
Marlo like grabs his lightsaber on the belt, but just hesitates with it being ready.
Kato like slowly reaches to the staff on his back, just like not pulling it out yet, just like has his hand on it. He's just like darted his eyes like between everyone else, like you know, like in the good, the bad, the ugly, just like doo-doo,
The good, the bad, and the fluffy.
yeah.
You guys know how far off Endor this medical facility is?
It's a talking rabbit.
Hey, I resent that. I'm part of a noble and upstanding species.
I'm gonna make you stew tonight.
I'm sorry,
That's
this is a very
only-
serious situation, but I'm very much being thrown off by a fucking talking rabbit.
I'm not a
Oh,
rabbit.
sit here.
I'm
That's
a Kushaman.
certainly an unusual occurrence. A sentient rabbit. Wow.
The next person to call me a rabbit is getting shot in the head.
Okay. Sorry, my friend.
Oh my god, the rabbit has a gun.
Oh no, he has a gun. What shall we do?
Oh my
Oh.
friend, you're so cute when you're angry.
Oh, it's going to be one of these campaigns, is it?
It's even worse than a soldier with a gun. Those guys miss all the time. There's nothing more accurate than a rabbit. They're so
You know
lucky.
what? You know what? To be specific, I draw the gun. Stop calling me a rabbit! Stop calling me cute!
Okay, hair. Okay,
Just
hair.
one thing. Can I do one thing? I will try this.
No, guys, try to keep it a little, just the fucking on grip, but just a little more serious.
Trying to pet him with animal handling and
Yeah.
I'm going to fail miserably.
May I
Now
attempt
that
to
we have
pet
the
you,
tone
dear sir?
properly set,
I'm gonna go
Our
to.
species has a long history of being captured by people like you and taken as pets. I will not stand for this cruelty.
I will not, don't worry.
I'll suddenly get like very serious right now
It's just-
and let's like focus on the character in the distance now. All fun is over for me.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's one way to
Does
get
that-
into
does-
character, I suppose. I can see there's just going to be a continuous sort of line of banter now with the party, probably for the remainder of the campaign. I hope it doesn't get
I think we
exhausting.
have the tone properly set here.
Does anyone have any idea where we are and how did I get here and what are you all doing here?
Well, that's what I was asking. I assume we're on some kind of medical facility somewhere near Endor. Do you guys know where?
I don't.
Why
don't
would we be
really-
near Ender?
Well, that's the last place I was. I assume we've kind of gotten that far.
That's
Roughly,
funny
I
because the
remember
last
getting-
place I was Mon Calamari and that's rather far away.
The last thing I
No,
remember, I
we
was
could
trying to
go
force
forward
choke a
back here.
wiki, so I don't know what happened.
You were trying to what?
Force
I was
choke.
trying
Okay.
to.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that's
Wait,
a
run that
euphemism
back
for
again?
something. Keep that to
I think-
yourself.
I think we should find out why are we here. I mean, Last time I remember, I was dying.
Here, I was getting
Are
blown up
you-
by ships.
I tell you what, at that sort of point there, can everybody when he says the last thing I remember we were dying, can everybody give me a wisdom check? A wisdom save. Yeah, wisdom save at the point of saying that.
Don't think about dying.
Disregard the plus.
Triple shot.
I'm on call.
Okay.
Yeah, disregard the plus two.
No,
That's
just
next.
the power one.
Okay.
Why did I roll 3 times? I don't
I
understand.
have no idea. So the point that I realized that I was dying. I mean, apart from who said that? I can't quite remember who said that.
The last thing I remember
I
was
yeah.
me dying.
Yeah. So
The thing I
that's
remember was getting blown up hard.
that was your boy Alexander.
18. It's an 18, not a 19. I
no,
don't know
no,
why.
you're-
it added me, no.
Yeah, you're not rolling. Not you yourself per se.
Yeah.
Although actual fact, I'll take it as well. It doesn't matter. You're all fine enough anyway. Oh wait, Esther. It kind of dawns on you that the wounds that you received, there's no medical facility that I would have brought you back. You are overcome with a tremendous amount of dread, having realized that you have in fact died. And as you look upon each other on this, actual fact, Kian, your boy as well, is on the verge of freaking the fuck out too. That you could see in each other's eyes, and his words of that every single one of you have also experienced your own death. That rung a bell for everyone. It is plain to see on each of your faces. And you can start to hear the footsteps of the approaching figure.
I'm going to guard up.
I pull out I pull out my vibro shield.
Yeah, I'm going to pull out my light katana.
Why are you
Yeah.
trying to kill a psychopath? That's surely a good thing to show up right now.
So
Don't be hasty. That person could be the only lead to us figuring out what's going on.
I'm going to call to the person approaching. You are a psychopath, right?
oh, he shouts back, "Hello and welcome." I just need to check something. Yeah, okay, cool. I did have the right word. I wasn't going to say something ridiculous. So, yeah, there's... The gentleman you see approaches looks a little bit like this. He has almost like a bovine-like features. He's humanoid, but he has bovine-like features. He's wearing an exceptionally well-kept... A simple, but exceptionally well-kept robe. Like, neat. Wearing it like it's a military, almost as though like it's a military uniform standard of neatness as he approaches you. He has a sort of quite a warm expression on his face of what you can make out of an expression on a bovine like features. Wonder if any of you would even, I don't know if anybody would even recognize this species. Probably
I don't think I would.
not. Maybe. If you want to give me a law check, each of you, this is going to be a pretty high DC. None of you at all. So, even is that a 14 or a 17 fractal?
It's a 14.
14, yeah. You don't know what this species is. Welcome to the engine room.
Well, it's
Engine
nice now
room.
that I'm not the only one who has -1 to...
What
Yes.
do you mean the engine room?
Well, as you can feel the...
Are we on the ship?
Of sorts. My name is Dran Goma. I suppose you can call the master of this place.
Wait, where are we exactly?
the afterlife. Isn't it obvious?
Let him speak.
I can't be dead yet. Not yet. I still have some things that I need to do.
Well, unfortunately, you're probably never going to get around to doing that. However,
Right.
the good news is, you guys have a great opportunity to see some extraordinary things.
Like what, exactly, friend?
Extraordinary.
You're going to see more of the nature of the Force, along with points in time, places in the galaxy that would have otherwise been impossible for you to see.
Interesting.
The question, one of the most pertinent questions would not have been exactly where you are, but probably more when.
When?
In when?
Sorry,
Well-
that question doesn't really seem to make sense to me. Are you sure about that?
So
Well-
he turns to turns to Zorost. Zorost. Well, maybe let's start with you. You've died recently, didn't you? Would you like to tell them when?
No, I don't know exactly the time, but it's about more than 2100 years after the Treaty of Coruscant.
That will require a low DC law check of probably, I'd say, about 12. Aside from Kian's character.
I have not been around
Check.
for this yet.
That checks out.
Everybody should do a lore check.
What the hell is that?
Yeah,
Don't accept me.
yeah. Kian, you don't need to do this because that is pretty much the calendar you're running off as well. However, that is 500 years in the past. He
What?
died as far as your character's awareness is right now. This man died 500 years ago.
How long does your race live? Really impressive.
About
Sorry,
a century.
Sorry, what the hell is that treaty you
What?
mentioned?
You have that in A or B, BY?
What is?
Well, they wouldn't have it in
exactly
BBY, would they?
BBY?
No,
What
we
the fuck
wouldn't.
is BBY?
What is that in
My
ABY?
character would know that, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, you'd have it in ABY. It's like, what is that in ABY? You wouldn't have it in BBY.
What are you guys talking
What the fuck
about?
are you
What
talking about?
exactly is BY?
Well,
You know the Battle of Yavin? Greatest fight of our generation!
What the fuck do you mean, greatest fight of our generation? That hasn't
Well-
existed.
I'm very
Wait.
confused right now, as well.
I'm not the smartest person around, but I feel like I would know about this.
It's
The
about,
greatest fight of the generation is the 1,000-year war. What Yavin are you talking about? What sort of backwater planet is that?
Well-
the gentleman holds up a hand. Gentleman, you're from. Gentleman and lady, you are from different. You've been extracted from different points in time, spanning around about 1,500 years.
How is this possible?
He raises both hands up. The machine.
Machine.
Yeah.
How do we know that you are telling the truth?
I mimic his exact hand movements and also go, the machine. The machine.
The machine.
You don't know that everyone's not lying to you right now.
From all I know, this is some kind of trick of that inquisitorious bastard. Some mind trick illusion, maybe.
Entirely possible. Yeah, I suppose you won't know for sure. You'll have to make your own damn mind up at some point. For
I
now,
was just
You said
about to
that-
get the upper hand. I have to snap out of this as soon as possible.
You said something about learning the true nature of the Force.
yes, this is
What do you mean by that?
this is what This is what we are doing here. So.
You see Marlowe in the meanwhile just kind of hitting his head and pinching his arm, trying to wake up.
I take one look at Marlowe and just say, "You're a Jedi, aren't you? A sort of a quirky one at that."
I'm sorry, do you know any better ways to get out of an illusion? Of course you don't, you're just made up of my mind.
You're just a figment of my imagination. Stop talking to me.
Exactly.
I'm just going to
do not
unbuckle my.
exist.
I'm just
It's
going to
strange that
unbuckle.
your imagination went to rabbit with a gun.
Yes.
I'm just going to unbuckle my
That's
split.
true.
Okay.
I'm just going to unbuckle my split shadow and just unsheath it to show. Well, then your imagination is quite dangerous to you.
Well, I'm going to look at the fellow gentleman that brought us, I think, here. I'm going to ask him, so, in theory, you revived us, or at least me, or what is going on, exactly?
Those of you, there's only one of you actually studied under the Orthodox Jedi, right? That's Victor's character.
Oh.
Yeah, in the temple.
Yeah, you studied in the temple. I know the Zabrak was taught via a holocron. We got a Sith. Who was...
But-
Vyatsa, why was you... how did you... Were you trained as a Sith or a Jedi?
I was a Jedi before.
Oh,
I
right,
got
so
hooked.
you've trained formally under the Jedi as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose at least a couple of you would be aware of this sort of philosophy of having this sort of the universal force and the living force. And he starts sort of pacing sort of head down as he's trying to think of a way of sort of articulating this. Well, you may have heard of masters living on beyond death through the force itself, becoming what's sometimes referred to as a force ghost.
What?
Not sure.
I
what
don't
you're
know.
talking about.
Even Master Yoda can do that, as far as I know.
I understand everything you said so far.
Oh, yeah, you don't know what the fuck the force is.
Jesus.
What the man?
This is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He turns to the he turns to the long-haired one and he says, "Yes, you have in fact experienced this. The Force is what you've been referring is what's kept you lucky for so long. Have you not wondered where all those instincts come from? Knowing when to hide, when to move, when to shoot. The Force connects everything, all of us, through time and through space. Through the Force, anything is possible. It's just a matter of how much energy. The immense energy is what you're feeling. What you're feeling now is what brought you all to me."
So, as I'm going to raise my right hand up, like.
Question.
Yeah, question. So, I know this is going to sound very strange, but why are we here right now? I mean,
I have a task for you.
a task. What type of task?
Around about 1000 BBY, a man referred to as Darth Bane establishes the rule of two. The masters of this machine, as we wish to understand the Force, we need to understand what happens when we make changes. So how does the Force react? As you're aware, as he turns to Kian's character, the Sith and the Jedi fought for 1,000 years, up until the point of your demise. No war goes on for as long.
So,
At some point, one side succeeds over the other. What kept both sides in constant conflict is the Force is always trying to rebalance itself. It's quite impossible for the Jedi or the Sith to eliminate each other. But it seems that the Force itself has a certain sentience about it, a certain cunning about itself. Or at least that's how it appears. It's merely an hypothesis. But like any hypothesis, it needs to be tested. How much of Bane's legacy was intended by the Force? So if we're to stop the chain of events, how does the Force compensate? Through that we will gain knowledge.
So basically, we are going to be your agents on this?
Precisely. You had to stop the legacy of Bane. The rule of two.
But what happened
That's happened for, you said, over like almost like a few thousand, well, almost like 1,000 years or so now. Like, how were we meant to do that? It's already happened.
Before I get to that, maybe I should explain to you, especially to some of you who died long before Bane was even born. Maybe I should explain Bane's story, at least what we know. So the climax of the Sith Jedi War, both sides of the forces culminated on Ruusan, ignoring the rest of the war in its entirety, hell-bent on eradicating each other. This reached its climax when a Force ritual known as the Thought Bomb was unleashed by Khan and the rest of the Brotherhood of Darkness, representing the Sith. This eliminated the Sith in its entirety, or so it was believed, and a large portion of the Jedi that charged them, instigating the release of the Thought Bomb. However, one Sith survived.
Yes. And they can see yours as well, if you're not right now, but
Can they see your face?
because I have a camera on.
That's stupid, Keenan.
Why?
Why do we need to see your face?
Because it's going on Twitch on a podcast.
I know that.
Yes.
If you got external conversations, mute yourself. It's family's family. They got to do this to you sometimes. Just mute yourself. It's just.
It'll be like that.
Pardon?
Taffy?
Yeah.
Do all of us need to hear the story of Bane, or, for example, if we were Jedi's, we have heard about him, like in
Yeah, but you don't. You may not know the whole story. If you died at the end of the Clone Wars, you don't know the full story of the Rule of Two. Actual fact, it's highly unlikely, unless you're a Jedi master on the Council, you've even heard of the Rule of Two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Out of character, Vic, how do you disable the bless extra rules?
So what I've noticed in this character sheet is, I think the reason why I had it and you had it as well is because I enabled the slow global save modifiers and then disabled it. But after I disabled it, it didn't take out the bless modifier. So if you enable it again, you can delete the modifier.
Yeah, this doesn't count for enroll. That's just like checking since I was doing the same thing to see if it's gone or not.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's because the rolls the numbers separate, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Just ignore the plus, whatever that is. It's fine. It's okay.
Okay, it's over now.
It's moot. It doesn't matter. So, from that, he established what has been broadly known as the Rule of Two.
Hold on.
Turn the camera off. Why do you have to have it on?
Because it's on.
Why do they can see your face? Why do they need to see your
Interesting.
face?
Kian, he's probably gonna go upside his younger brother's head, I reckon. You know, I know exactly what's going on there. His younger sibling's doing right now. He's going, "Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?" Because he knows it's interfering. He knows it's irritating. Younger siblings do that, man. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna act perfectly innocent. I'm not doing anything to upset you. Clearly, you are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Clearly, you know. I know what game you're playing. I've been your age. Shut up. Leave the room.
I'll be.
They try
I'll
to be
back. Hold on.
tricky, but they can't. Deception one. They roll
Yeah,
an
it's like
actual one.
it's like I got a much higher proficiency modifier than you, son. You need much more leveling up. Please go away.
Yeah, so like since this discussion is going on and you're like mentioning the Battle of Yavin, Zoros will just like put his finger up and just say exactly what happened in the Battle of Yavin since it's being mentioned so much.
So, sure.
Well, you know, the rebel forces, they blow up the Empire's Death Star.
So,
Kind of horrible.
ladies, gentlemen, I fine, no worries. I will get to that, but to understand that, you will need to understand where Bane comes into this. This, in fact, the Yavin is the events that follow on from the Rule of Two. So, his philosophy that he's implemented, he saw a flaw in Khan's plans. Khan was the one that was currently leading the Sith during the Sith Jedi Wars. I should imagine those of you that were trained in the Jedi Temple will be aware of this. At least that much. Where he dropped the Darth title. The attempt to make all Sith equal to one another. To try to eliminate the infighting. Well, in actual fact, at least it's believed that he was using force mind trickery in order to placate the infighting. Bane saw the folly in this, as the Sith need to survive through trial at arms, by becoming the master by killing their master. He felt that the Sith would have a better chance of eliminating the Jedi if they worked in the shadows. The way he did this was to establish the Rule of Two. One master, one apprentice. Days are gone where the apprentices will join forces to eradicate their master. Now the apprentice itself has to become more powerful than the master in order to take the mantle and take on an apprentice of themselves. And thus, through a single linear means of evolution, the Sith would get stronger. Sitting within the shadows, unaware of the Republic. Unaware of the Republic. The Republic unaware, and so are the Jedi.
But we're aware of it. But that also means that Sidious is going to get a new apprentice after Dooku?
Sidious has had what do you have after that? Yeah, Sidious will indeed have another apprentice.
Oh shit. Who will that be?
Not for now. For now, the result is 1,000 years after the Battle of Yavin. The Sith were successful in eradicating the Jedi through what was known as Order 66. A complex chain of events that involves too much explaining that we don't really need to be getting into now. Much as that, despite a bit of a strange thing that we can move through time, but strangely, we always seem to be running out of it. For now, the result was the Sith were successful, but not for long. Very shortly, as what is the species called again, that rabbit?
Kushaban.
As the Kushaban had said, rebel forces had eliminated their greatest weapon, the Death Star, in the Battle of Yavin, which turned the tides of war and eliminated the Sith Empire. You see, Bane was successful in his Rule of Two, but it took 1,000 years to implement, and his success only lasted 40 years. We're not doing this to save the galaxy. The galaxy will move on regardless of who's in charge. We're doing this to see how the Force reacts. Does it try to correct itself? Is this something that just happened, or was this intended? Something we need to see. So what we know about Bane is that 1,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, as you guys know it as, for myself, I did have the notes up. Where are you, wee bastard? Give me. I need this somewhere. Yes. I gotta pop this into the corner here. Can I have room for both? Yes, I have room for both screens. That's good. But I know as 3500 though your arrival. He smiles. Your systems. Wouldn't it have been great if we just had one and stuck to it?
Isn't the foil like some food?
Thoyo? No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thoyo arrival. That, again, is another story for another time. Bane had established the rule of two. He was not subject to the thought bomb. He was the only Sith that survived. And he went into hiding. And to much as we have attempted, and as much as the Republic themselves have attempted, there has been no sign of him ever since. As though he completely disappeared following the thought bomb. We only know of his existence retroactively. We know he trained on Korriban. We're not sure when, but we do know that when Khan called for reinforcements, which expedited the graduation of the apprentices there, Bane was among them. So we know shortly of about 1001 BBY. Wait a minute. Years. This is the thing, is the jankiness of it all. Yeah, 1001 BBY. Yeah, so in 1001 BBY, we do know that he was training at Korriban. Beyond that, it's up for you to discover. If you want to know what happened...
That is actually a very good segue to my next question. Why us?
Because you believed capable and willing.
I mean, fair, I almost beat Windu before you got me here, sure.
Straightforward answer to a straightforward question.
Yep.
So, the way the machine works, how this works, it creates tethers through space-time. It will connect all 5 of you together, and it will be able to send you back to a predetermined time and place. To move back in time takes an extraordinary amount of energy. Not enough energy that could be sent through that tether. Moving forward in time, that's a lot easier. In fact, you don't need time travel to move forward in time.
Well, then we're doing it right now.
Yes. I'm traveling forward in time right now at the speed of 1 second per second.
Precisely. It's all it is. A means of just expediting that and allowing time to pass its natural way whilst keeping you in frozen in your own little pocket time. And that's how it's done. You blink out of existence, time passes, and you reappear again. Nice and easy.
No, I assume it's not hard to get back once you've done that, but...
Absolutely. It is very possible to get you back. Once the mission has been completed, you'll be brought back here. We cannot move you back in time once you're there. And we cannot move you, we cannot send you, cannot come here and then send you back again to an earlier time. It sends almost like a ripple, like a tear in the Force itself to do so. Now, the Force is pretty resilient. But if we overlay too much energy within the same line, it could rip all of reality apart. So unfortunately, we can only send you back once.
So basically it's all one way in.
One way in and...
Zero ways out.
The only way. One way back, and then the only way to move then is forward.
This is the way.
We are not going to fail you, my friend.
There is a couple of other things that the tether is capable of doing. Whilst you're back, you will all be tethered together. You'll be able to feel it. It will not be detectable by anyone else not bound to it. Even in
That helps.
Force Dead areas, it still lingers. Fortunately for you, you're not going to be sent back to a place I wouldn't recommend it. But it will sustain. It will also keep you bound together. Even if you spread out across different points in time, you will still be able to communicate as though you are occupying the same point in time. You'll all be continuously connected to this engine until you are ready to return.
Interesting.
So now, it is possible to find Bane probably quite easy. We could send you back to Rusan, to just before the thought bomb, before the thought bomb kicks off, and you could find Bane and attempt to kill him.
Okay, that's probably not the best ideas.
No.
Well,
I've essentially only just begun starting to understand what the flow really is, and
Yes.
I don't know about you, but unless you're any stronger than me, I doubt that that's going to be a very good idea at all.
Probably
Oh, I
not.
definitely think I am. And there is 5 of us, and only one of Bane.
well, I'm sure we're going to do something efficiently. I have the feeling.
That was a misclick. Don't worry about it.
So, what you need to do is pick a point in time and a place that I can send you to. You're able to move forward in time. The tether also allows you to fold space-time and move to a different place within the same time zone. It does cause a tear, but it's only a small tear. However, it will deplete it will cost some energy to do so, and there's only so much we can send back before that tear is going to unravel reality. So use that sparingly. So,
Okay,
when
so
and where
we
would
go back.
when and where would you like to go?
Do we know where Bane was born?
We do not.
Well, I mean, I don't have any ideas, but let's consult each other to see.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a couple of little nudges, by all means, where Bane was born would be a bloody good idea. If you could roll back far enough. The span of time, I've got to put a limitation on this. The span of time in which we can cover is, at the moment, for this, due to ripples, because wibbly wobbly, I've got to give some restrictions on it. Otherwise, you can go back to fucking anywhere, and it could just be you'd be stumbling in the dark. You can. You can only. I was going to say you can only go back 25 years before the thought bomb. No further back than that.
Okay, let's, or you can like
But
place us on the time when he was on the most successful way, like the top of his career, to say it.
you want to go back when he is the most powerful.
Well, if he's going to
So
fall,
you can go back 25 years, again, not knowing where he is. Someone sits there, somebody moves forward in time. You could find something out, and then you got two people that can move within two different points in time.
Someone just please tell Marlowe that he's not strong enough to take on Bane because he has no clue and he honestly believes it.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, I'd go with Carter. Sorry, it's yes, it's been a while since I've interacted with people so young. My humor is probably a little rusty. It was a joke. Bane would, without any doubt, would annihilate all 5 of you at the peak of his power, without
Is
question.
he stronger than Vindu?
Darth Bane is arguably one of the most powerful Force sensitives that have ever existed in all of time and space.
Oh, then we have a problem.
yeah, but not as powerful as Anakin Skywalker.
Debatable.
In the terms of the midichlorians.
Metachlorian count, but metachlorian counts don't mean shit. No, they do mean something, but they don't mean that much. Training and canon is much more different. Anakin has never. You got to bear in mind that, like, back in the Jedi Sith War, the Jedi and Sith training. So, like, when Anakin was what they would only do in this sort of form that to combat lightsaber, laser gun fire, what a phaser gun, blaster fire, to deal with blaster fire. This is why Dooku had killed so many Jedi, because very few of them had trained for lightsaber on lightsaber combat. That's why he was able to kill so many. Whereas like Darth Bane has been taught and drilled on a Sith Academy on like from the foundation. Like the first thing they learn is to put up a force barrier to stop other force sensitives from just simply snapping their neck. And that's the first thing they do, that to the point that it becomes as natural as tying your shoelaces before they even hold a training saber. So you're talking a completely different level of training. I think, maybe Anakin had a higher metachlorian count, but I think if Anakin and Darth Bane would go toe to toe, the Bane would have fucking mauled him.
Also, Anakin is not really cunning, more of a brute. Like, let's be honest.
He just uses his metachlorian count as a bludgeoning weapon.
Yeah, the way Anakin handled the battle against Obi-Wan led a perfect example for it.
You just need to look at like the Sith sorceries that were known then, where like a lot of this shit was forgotten. Like it was only the Telos holocron that kept that going, but that got lost. The Bane was the last one to handle it before Sidious discovered it again.
And we're getting back into game. Marlo is going to suggest then. Our goal is not exactly to stop Bane; it's to stop the rule of two, right?
Now you're thinking.
So what if we kill the Padawan?
You could replace it.
They would find another apprentice.
Yeah.
If you merely look at the chain that way.
However,
However, it has been theorized that if Bane, back before he became Bane, was discovered first by the Jedi and not the Sith, he could very well have been fighting for the Army of Light instead. Despite the fact that they generally don't take on people that are so old. But you need to understand that Bane was exceptionally powerful, had a lot of natural ability. He was too old even by Sith standards, yet they trained him anyway.
We also know where he trains. We can kill him as a Padawan if time travel with them getting right.
If indeed you can find him.
Didn't you say where he was trained?
At Korriban.
Yes. So we know.
So it's entirely possible that you could go back to Korriban. It has been known. And say that apprentices die during training.
So we enroll in Korriban and we kill the guy during a training session and we come back. Job done.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say it, but hard to do it because, it's a Sith Academy a bit.
Yeah, it's obvious that Marlo has no idea what the Sith Academy entails.
Yeah, you're talking like a Sith Academy doing like the most warriors period in Jedi Sith history. Like they're sort of like combat training. They've had like 1,000 years of 1,000 years of generations, developing combat techniques. Like almost all force fight. There's been like, what is it like since then? There's been like one like lightsaber form that's been created since. In that 1,000 years, everything else was created within that period.
Yeah, like in Marlo's mind academy punishment is like detention. In that, it's torture.
It's not only torture, but almost execution. Great. Okay, so I'm going to look at the party and going to say, do you have more questions to this fellow gentleman before we are going to proceed with the mission that he gave us, because we don't have anything to do else.
Yes. What happens to Tano?
I was going to say my
She
honor.
left the order. Wait, fuck! I messed up the timeline.
I was going to say my genuine advice to you guys is recon. That's the first thing you should be thinking of, is recon. You want to get your guys spread out. Like I said, advisable to split the party in this because it's like agency work, right? That's why it's not a waste of time building something that's strong in combat, because if you need someone that can fight, generally you're probably going to be fighting on your own. So you want somebody that's so... If you're going to make a combat character, make something that's solo combat.
Yeah, that's actually how Marlowe is set up.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Alexander
Am
as
I
well.
back? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello.
you're back.
I
Yep.
swear to... Every time I go onto the computer, it loses fucking everything. I don't know why the internet today is just so fucking shitty. I don't know why.
That's fine,
It's
fine, man.
Yeah.
So where we're at so far, so they've got so the party are more or less discussing, just coming up with sort of hypotheses on how they can approach this based solely on the very limited knowledge they have at the moment. It's an extremely high risk strategy to sort of go back to Korriban and catch it when Bane is the apprentice, to find him at a point that he's weak and kill him in a training accident. Which does mean getting all of your asses into Korriban. Bear in mind that you're going to the dangerous place as well. It could be interesting. Would be interested in running a Korriban Sith Academy campaign.
We can assist. I mean, another option is.
Oh
like,
no, he
just
died in an
always-
accident.
So-
How unfortunate.
But there's a thing of sort of like, because like obviously Korriban have got records, right? They have records on where Bane is from, what he was doing before. So it may not be a terrible idea to get your ass to Korriban around about that time, but you need to find out when he joined Korriban, so they don't know. All they know is that he was part of the apprentices whose graduation was expedited to get them to Ruson.
I have another idea of it. Like
But you don't know how long he'd been training there.
I think
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like,
as
can we? Sorry to interrupt. Can we like move? Like in the part of the time that it's more accurate and we know, like, even though it's like the time that he ruled, or he was a very powerful man on a powerful like not the rule of two, before that, even before the bomb, to say at least, like to go into a time period that we know more concrete, because if we are going to go into the Sith temple, and we don't know what to find there exactly, like, or to find him, it's going to be useless to just send some.
Question, Mr. Drangoma.
Yes.
Can we bring back items from there to here?
Yes.
In that case, someone could go back and to a time where Bane is no more, fetch his lightsaber, and using that and psychometry, I can find a time in the past where he is weak and alone, and then go back and kill him.
Well, do you think it's going actually to work a bit? I mean, we don't know where even his lightsaber is.
The problem with that, though, as I said, we can only send you back once.
yeah,
But like,
because we
as a
because we can
group,
because we can only go back once. The best thing to do is we all go back as far as possible. We investigate that time period initially for clues and leads, then send individuals forward to points where those leads lead.
Yeah.
That sounds.
Because if we pick anything further forward, we can never go back. So you want to start with everyone as far back as possible.
Yeah,
And then spread out through time and do some recon.
Yeah.
So you basically so just to sort of give you like a mental image of this. If you think of this as like a chain, it's a long chain of events. At the moment, like the last two links. You're aware of the last two links. So what you need to do is sort of spread out to try and map out this chain of events. And then you've got a better idea. And at some point, then you'll be able to establish a weak enough link and somebody within that time, or somebody that can move forward to that point in time where that link takes place, and then break the chain. and then that's it. You all get pulled back through mission complete. And if you do it in a manner that is solely like completely undetectable, you're going to get full EXP for that as well.
Well,
A question, good sir.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm a Sith, so if I go back to the time period where Darth Ben was just a Padawan, will they still have records of me?
If you went back to when you were a Padawan, would they have records of you? Yes.
When Darth Bane was a Padawan.
They call them apprentices, but yes, you could go back to them. They would have records of where he came from. Absolutely.
Are you trying to grandfather paradox yourself?
no.
No, he's talking about Bane.
No, good sir. Sorry, I think you misunderstood. I know what he wants to state to. Basically, if they have records of him, like the Sith Academy has the history of him.
Oh, right. Could very
Well, because according to you, it has been 5 centuries since my death, the place where I'm going to.
yes.
But I don't think, to be honest. Or is it very unlikely?
It is possible that there would be records of you. Neither side were entirely annihilated. There would also be records on Korriban.
Here's an idea. You said that the Jedi could first find Bane instead of the Sith. What if we find Bane before the Sith and bring him back with us as a recruit?
Yeah. Or like an idea is like
To move a small object such as a lightsaber or a holocron is, well, that's difficult enough due to the connection to the force of the crystalline matrix. It is possible, but it's difficult. It causes tears. To move a person is exceptionally risky. To bring a person as in tune to the force as Bane, I would dare not attempt it.
well.
No.
Let's think about it. This very good because each point that we are not looking, or any detail that is not checked, is it going to be a bit fatal for our mission? Am I right, sir?
What would be fatal to the mission? Sorry, what? Say again?
Basically, if we don't look at the details and we are not making a good plan, a solid plan, the mission will fail.
No, absolutely. This requires a delicate touch.
So the idea of splitting, unfortunately for me, isn't going to be very unlikely because, yeah, even though some of us are willing to do that, others can do that as well or cannot do that task. So I'm suggesting like to go together a bit. I mean, splitting isn't like the best option, but it's not the worst option.
Splitting is the best option by far. I mean, you go as far back as possible. You send one person forward. They get information from the future, which we can then use in the past to go further forward from there. You can't do that if you keep everyone together.
I agree with it as well.
Hey, bro, say ooga booga and I'll follow you. Go ahead. Give me a follow then, George.
Ooga booga.
Okay, so
Ooga booga.
Hey! Thanks for the follow, dude.
well, any other ideas? I don't have, but
I think for a singular start point of
Yeah.
a plan that is then built forward, we want to, as a group, go back as far as we can to
Yeah.
25 years before.
Yeah.
yeah.
Initially, start at that time point and gather as much information as we can about things which are going to happen in the future, and then send one or two people forward to those points, and then they can theoretically bring information back to the past, which will then determine what the people in the past do forward.
Yep.
As a core plan, as a baseline, that should be our starting point.
Yeah.
So one thing to
The
note.
rabbit sounds smart.
As you sort of
Smart. I'm gonna trust the rabbit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gooba, as you sort of saying that, one thing to note, Gooma. I got Ooga Booga in my head now, mixing with Dran Gooma. Ooga Booga said Dran Gooma. So, brain, please switch on. So Gooma looks at you. He says, one thing to note. As though advisable to split you guys apart. Should one in the past alter the timeline as such to create such a drastic change for those in the future, it can cause them to snap back. This fortunately doesn't cause so much of a ripple because it's more of a means of releasing energy as opposed to forcing energy into the system. Wow, what's that noise? Who's got the crazy white noise?
What? I'm not hearing
That
anything.
that would be
I'm hearing
my.
it. It is real.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'm hearing it
That
as
would
well.
be my.
It's fractal.
Fractal.
Nope.
No, it's not
I think
fractal.
it's cyan.
No,
Yeah, I think it's
Hello?
Kians.
Giant.
Yeah.
Well, stop now. Cool. Right. So yes. So you will have a snapback effect. Others before you have used that to their advantage. But you need to be careful. Whatever actions you take, at any point in time and place, you cannot expose this agency. You have to be like ghosts. Be careful of what evidence you leave behind.
I mean, who would believe it anyways? Like, if you told me back on before, I would be like, no, you're a madman, go to a doctor.
Yeah. He has a point. He has a point.
Okay. So, here we be. And we are well over the time that I was planning on running this to. So now you guys have got the brief, and now it's just like your heads are going, what the fuck are we doing, trying to work this out? How about we call this here? To give you
Right.
time to sort of discuss and how you're going to go about doing this. Because it's not just, okay, you're going to go back as far back as possible, but where? Where are you going to go back?
I'm just making this sure. So Darth Bane was found by the Sith, right? Not the Jedi.
Yeah, Darth Bane was discovered by the Sith.
So since I'm a Sith, I could go back to that point in time and do something there, since I can blend easily with them.
Well, that's an absolutely brilliant idea, but when did that happen? When and where was he when he was discovered by the Sith?
Yeah, we find.
See
we need
here,
to find that-
recon. The first thing is recon.
That's the thing.
Yeah. All you know is the last few links. You know, he was part of the apprentices whose graduation was expedited to bolster the numbers at the Battle of Ruson for the 7th Battle of Ruson, which resulted in the thought bomb eradicating the Sith. It was believed that everybody had died. Like, Darth Bane was not known until years later, which he was discovered through records, a lot of which came out, 1,000 years later, really. So,
Well, recon it is then. Let's go like 100 years to the past or 200 years to the past.
go far back as 25 years before the thought bomb.
Okay.
Can't go back any further than that. Not for any other reason other than it'll be a complete waste of your time.
Yeah, I was just like saying it in a figurative.
Yeah. So, yes, have a think about that. We have that sort of channel in that thread. You guys can sort of discuss and chat and decide what it is. Thank you, chat, for not dropping any spoilers in there. Be the same for those of TTA who are watching now. No spoilers in those threads at all. Don't just isn't it awesome, that sort of point when, so-and-so becomes Darth Bane by XYZ. I will be deleting that comment and you'll be getting a DM off me, you absolute bastard. Don't be that person.
Well,
Cool. As far as EXP this session, you hadn't shifted. I'm gonna have to do a default if there's a case of having shifted. So as far as a brief, like I'm gonna say, I'm gonna call this a session 0.5, so a pre-session one, because you guys haven't actually stepped in and interacted with the universe just yet. You're more or less just been grabbing the concept and being introduced by it to the strange man that master is the master of the device. See what happens. Questions?
No.
How are you guys feeling about this concept?
It's good.
I love it.
It's
Cool.
fire, honestly.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought it was a cool idea. I'm fairly confident in this, but as you could probably understand what I meant when I said that what my idea is absolutely batshit, but I'm pretty confident I can pull it off somehow. Yeah, splitting the party is going to be the awkward bit because I'm going to make sure everybody's getting sort of torchlights. This is why I've kind of thrown it on you, so there's that extra point to get on there. Like that point system is going to get will end up getting sort of redrafted probably several times as there's other factors I need to add to it. Just to bring that up now so people know what the hell I'm talking about. So this is what I've got for this Westmarch. So a little extra ASIs in here if I get into the different thing. As you could probably see, there's a slight shift in the sort of tonality of these titles when it goes from agent to archagent, and then to principalities and then to thrones. Maybe some of you will recognize principalities and thrones from that and may give you an idea, maybe a bit of a clue as to who's behind all of this, but say no more. But yeah, so they get scored. So these are the points that's required to get this level. So players get points based on this. So this is done as a group, right? So player session, 1 point. So these are the footprints. Are you a ghost, a rumor, a mystery, or were you exposed? So you'll get points based on the amount of sort of impact you've had in the world there. Everyone out of role. So that's a case of everybody was given a job to do it. That's the thing that's pushed on to you guys. But I, again, may change the sort of scores in this because it seems to be very more heavy on the sort of footprint and a little less heavy on making sure everybody has a role. And the reason why I want to have everyone has a role, because I'm going to be trying juggling multiple people in different times and thinking how a change is going to alter the chain of events and then how that's going to affect the world that another player's in. It's much easier, instead of me also on top of that having to worry to make sure that everybody's getting a turn, that if I push that bit onto you guys, so you guys self-govern on that and make sure that each one of you is doing something. So you get the full points. Since you were discussing, I'm going to say that everybody contributed on that one, most definitely. Everybody was speaking, was good. Everybody had some sort of input, whether it was a meme, a joke,
Mostly a meme.
Debated back and forth. What is the best way to approach this? So we get the 1 point on that one. Play session, 1 point on that one. You haven't kicked off, so I'm not going to give you any points for the footprint. So just take 2 points. So put on your character sheet 2 on your DXP or whatever. So just use your DXP points on the sheet for that.
Taffy.
Yes.
A special F card towards this every time that's going to happen. So.
F card.
Yes.
All right.
So, how can we call them? I mean, I will use another. I will not use the experience point. I will use the. Or actually, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, just use the experience point slot and just put the points in there. Because you level 5, nothing's going to happen. The character sheet isn't going to light up once you get 500, points.
I just remember that.
Yeah, because you level 5, which is I think the next time that sheet's going to start flashing and go time to level up is going to be around about like 27,000 or something. Yeah. So yeah, you're not going to worry about that. So just use the XP slot because otherwise that's not going to be used for anything anyway. For those who are asking what the hell does ghost, rumor, mystery, and exposed as, I tried to make it as sort of self-explanatory as possible, but I run through it. So ghost is that you left. No, in actual fact, I wrote a very good example when somebody else asked me this question. Yeah, so yeah, ghost. It was like as though you weren't there. A rumor that is evidence left. That evidence left behind is odd, but nothing that can't be rationalized. I.e., you leave rumors behind you. So some non-significant characters saw something, maybe, right? Your mystery then is the evidence left behind, although doesn't necessarily allude to the time travel in Force sensitives, it nevertheless cannot be explained. You leave a mystery behind you, like what the hell had happened there, right? And exposes you've left evidence of the agency's operations. You've left exposing evidence behind. So an example I give is imagine a Jedi that's hiding after Order 66, that is saving some farmers from some raiders. So if he ghosted it, the Jedi rallies the farmers and stands by them with blaster in hand, using the Force only in subtle ways, appearing no more than lucky and a crack shot at most. A rumour would be a few of the farmers he's helped did spot a lightsaber clipped to his belt, a little glance into the spot of that, and or he, determines, an ambush with no natural way of knowing how, right? So little things like that. There's a sort of a rumour, is there something special about this guy? I wonder if this guy's is a Jedi. But again, these farmers, he's helping them out. So, as long as there's only one or two that spot them and you haven't got multiple people seeing the same event to collaborate, to speak together, to confirm what each other saw, it'll just be nothing more than a rumour. If it's a mystery, is basically maybe something like he saves a baby, trapped in a building full of raiders by running in completely unarmed. The people outside, you heard a buzzing sound followed by some flashes of green and Tusken screaming, and then the Jedi exits the building, a completely quiet building, unscathed with a bundled baby. That's a bit of a mystery. They didn't see what happened in there, but there's no way any ordinary person could have gone in there, and enough people had saw what had happened. Probably a lot of lightsaber sort of cuts and things like that would be seen in there as well, which again would leave that mystery. Exports would be a case of the Jedi is seen by many wielding a fucking lightsaber right in the middle of this farm, throwing objects around using, hand gestures. And that would be seen by many. That would be exposed. That's a case of clearly there's a fucking Jedi being here, right?
Essentially, when you murder a hobo.
Yeah, so murder hobo is not, so yeah, don't go doing that.
Hobos are
How's your fractal chaos? I'm going to become a sexual Sith assassin at PK that said vote kick.
yeah.
I don't do erotic RP. Fuck that. That's so weird, and certainly not on Twitch. Anyway, god damn it. I know you're jesting. I know you're jesting. I'm just saying. I don't do that. Fade to black. RP amongst yourselves in the DMs after the session. You weird individuals.
Instead of dragon, that's gonna be the new GIF, new meme.
Yeah.
Roll to seduce the space whale.
Fucking roll to seduce the bloody crate dragon. Okay. Yeah, that's session. I'm going to call it here. So that's everybody up to speed. Everybody knows what they're doing. You don't know how you're going to do it yet, but you know what you're doing. That's the main thing. So yeah, you got a week to prepare. Next week, guys, so if you want to catch this, it's 13:30 UTC. So approximately 5 hours before now. So this was a particularly long session. But we did go live quite late because... we were potching about, and I was making sure these guys grasped the concept before I said it in character, so I'm not repeating myself over and over again and having to break character and immersion break and all that stuff. So, cool. All right. I'm going to find someone to raid now. Stick around. It's 250 points. I know points don't do anything on this particular stream, but if you catch our stream on the Saturday mornings, it is a completely entirely improvised campaign that... can be influenced directly via chat through channel points, including striking enemies with bolts of lightning from the sky. Yes, that's shit you can do. You can even set fire to PCs. You can create NPCs, place names, and do all kinds of shenanigans. And yes, it is as absolutely chaotic as it sounds, but it is a bunch of fun. I love it. So,
Figuring media encounters, yeah, that's a big one.
Happy?
Yep.
Can we make the living hell out of the players?
You can, yeah, you're nuts, man. But yeah, stick around in chat because when I do this raid now, you will get an extra 250 points. That is 4 suggestions, I think a place name, and there's quite a lot you can actually do with 250 points. So I generally don't want to raid somebody that's in a game because there's a lot of context to catch up on. I tend to like people.
Mandari, who we used to raid in the past, is doing some homebrew things.
Who would that be?
Mandari, I'll give you a link in a second.
Mandari. Oh yeah, I see her there.
Yeah.
Working or distracted. So that's what she's doing. 5 rue homebrew world building. Yeah, I like to pop in when people are creating. The reason being is like, oh, for God's sake. The reason being is because stuff, things, thinking, doing.
They have time to react.
They have time to react. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm fucking terrible at it. Yeah, they have time. They have time to sort of react to it. They're able, speak easy. Where's ours? I don't see ours. 40 viewers, 25 viewers. Good Lord, it's busy. Yeah, that's why we are far down the list because it's so busy right now. Huh. Okay. We'll hop onto that one. We do raid / raid. Blah. Not scheduled clips. Why are you putting that in there? Stop trying to add shit. Just do the thing. There we go.
Alright. Make sure to make some noise in the other channel. Spam
Yeah,
some TTA emotes and everything.
Yeah, I need to get that in.
By the way, Taffy, you have no idea how happy I'm for this campaign because it's exactly at the perfect time for me. 7 p.m. on a Sunday.
Beautiful. Right. Sorry, multitasking now. I'm absolutely terrible at it. Yeah, we're ready now. Catch them. Say hello from us. Right in now. Right time. Right now, catch them. Say hello from us. Oh, right in now. Right time. Right now, catch them. Say hello from us. Oh, right in out.
How did your stream go? How was D&D? Hi there, PK. Hi there, Viatza. Hello, welcome on in. I'm Andari. You can also call me Faye. That's my real life name. I am a D&D streamer. I do a lot of world building and homebrew rating for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I also do a lot of mechanic design and generally just kind of hang out and have a good time. Right now, we're kind of talking. Well,
multitasking. I was trying to catch it on this raid because I want to get followers on Twitter and shit like that as well. Try and build that up.
But hey, hello, welcome in.
Get off right. Schedule rules bits. Where's Twitter? There's Twitter.
Star Wars 5e campaign. Oh, cool. That sounds fun.
The channel once again when I edit.
That sounds like a good time. I hope that it went well. You're of the Rebel Army, Aswada.
Right, there you go. That's that done. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Watch the 1980s show.
Now I'm in the room. Okay. Hi. Yes. So yeah, now we're off camera. Feedback, noise, things, stuff, wants, problems, anticipations of things going fucking tits up. How's everyone feeling?
I think it's a very good balance in memery and actual seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
If we are not going to do anything, I'm going to hop off.
Okay.
It's okay. If it's okay. Well, I love it. The next session is going to be on Sunday as well, I think. Right?
Same time, yeah. I assume.
Yeah, good. So, I will see you another time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, catch you, buddy.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Hello, Maya. How have you been? Haven't spoken in a while.
I'm alright, Fluffy. Just chilling, man.
You just caught the start of the Prologue Campaign for a new Star Wars 5e Westmarch.
Do you want to hear something hilariously funny?
Go ahead, absolutely. Always want to hear hilarious.
I ran my own D&D 5th ed.
Why is that hilarious? I think you'd be pretty good at that.
Because I've always bitched at how shit 5th ed is, and guess what? It still is. But yeah, no, I ran one.
Yeah, it's too high fantasy for me. I know I'm saying that, and I'm playing a super impowder.
I took most of the magic out.
Yeah, you kind of have to really in order to make sense of the fucking world.
No. If someone was seen doing arcane-based spells, they were hunted, tried, and executed.
I have deciphered on why the internet is so shit.
Because error 404 or because Russian? Or Boris Johnson. Oh no, wait. He's coming back. What was she called?